Hello, people. The Premier League is back. 2025-26. We're living in the future. And we're going to be predicting the future of all of the managers that are in the Premier League. We're going to tackle a big question that they need to address this season, and we're going to assign a destiny in what is sort of a tier list, but maybe more a barometer. So we're going to go through every team. We're going to talk about the managers, the situation they're in, what they've got to deal with. And yeah, we're going to assign a status, a destiny. So these are the different options. We've got legendary status. Arne Slot last season, for example. Mm-hmm. Pinched. Someone's going to get pinched by another team at some point because they do so well. Stock rising as a manager and as a team. Treading water. Middle of the road. Cliff edge. So they're on a bit of a cliff edge. Gone by next November. So they make it round, but they're going to probably be gone by next November. We've seen it a million times. End of season handshake. Okay, we got to the end of season, aka Ange.
Yeah, all the best.
All the best. Thanks to the manager, Sir Ange. And gone by November. So gone by this November. Could it occur? Ooh. Right, so let's get into it. We're going to kick off. We're going to respect the alphabet, as Dougie says. And we're going to kick off with Arsenal. And just before we started recording, you had some thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Because Eze is being linked with you. Yes. I've been quite pro Eze at Arsenal.
Yes.
By the time this comes out, Actually, I'm not going to reveal my predictions. I'm going to get straight into the question. Can you win the league with Martinelli, Madueke and Trossard as your left wingers? That is the big question here. Arsenal attacked the least down their left side last season. 33% of any team in the Premier League, according to who scored. So, Martinelli, Madueke, Trossard on that left-hand side, maybe in addition. Yeah. What time will tell with that. And Gyökeres, I guess, kind of driving into that channel as well. Is that going to be enough?
I mean, if you can isolate Gyökeres in that channel against a defender 1v1, like Arteta said the other day, you're not going to be able to stop him. But are Arsenal going to get enough of those kind of transitional moments to allow him in that space? But then again, I think that's been overplayed a little bit. That
you said to me, so your concern was that, okay, Eze's a nice idea.
Yeah.
But actually, and probably a lot of Arsenal fans would feel similar. They needed to kind of go big, go blockbuster, go Rodrigo,
yeah. Or like a Nico Williams before he committed his future to Bilbao. Someone like that. Because if you've got someone, like Saka gets doubled up on so much down that right-hand side, so much of Arsenal's build-up goes down that right-hand side. If you can free up, I mean, I know you're living in a dream world if you think that Rodrigo's, if they got him, he's just going to be isolated 1v1 all the time, because if they've got Saka and Rodrigo, it's not like they're still just going to, teams are just going to still focus so much on defending that right-hand side of Arsenal. But that's the way I kind of saw it in terms of what Saka does, attracts so many bodies around him, and you free up someone a little bit more 1v1, rather than an Eze who likes to drift into central spaces a bit more, where you've got Lewis Skelly who likes to do that on that left-hand side as well. It's not like you've got a fullback that's constantly bombing on, holding that width to allow Eze to play as a little bit more of a 10.
Two things I've seen in pre-season. One is Calafiori actually getting some good minutes and bombing down there, because they are different, very, very different. Yeah. And with Lewis Skelly, like, he's still really young, so you kind of want to be able to rotate it. And I think that's a big story for a lot of the top teams, is like you need more than 11.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of key in Arsenal's recruitment this summer, is that they've improved the first 11, but I think Arteta feels like he's probably been burnt too many times by injuries over the course of the last couple of years, and he's almost like not. There's been a lot of chat about Arteta like overcorrecting tactically, and I think some people are almost like he's so paranoid about the injuries and the depth now, but I think they've actually done it and balanced it quite well.
I do,
to be honest.
I'm quite hot on Arsenal despite the broad feeling on it, and this will lead to, I think, actually the biggest question for Arteta. But just to finish on that, on the Eze Martinelli thing, I haven't totally given up on Martinelli.
Yeah,
and I feel like actually that Eze type figure there, basically when you're defending against Arsenal, I have the feeling that you panic a bit when Saka gets it.
Yeah.
Your right back maybe panics a touch when Martinelli gets it, but you kind of know where he's going.
Yeah, you know what he wants to do. Yeah.
And I just feel like, when Declan Rice gets it, you're not overly concerned about his trickiness. Like, he might run you into the ground. He might drive past you in the middle phase of the pitch, but I don't think he'll just like. He hasn't got that kind of Eze factor, or that Cherky factor, that 10 factor, where it's just like, oh, please don't run at me here.
Yeah.
And what that does is it freezes defenders, and it also makes them commit a little bit. And so that then could make Martinelli miles better.
Yeah.
And it could make some of those other players a little bit better.
Yeah.
A ripple effect, if you will. So I feel like that's why that person is needed for me. Whereas I think, God, look, you can go get Rodrigo Williams. With those ones, they're so frightening.
Yeah.
That you just go, yeah.
Yeah.
But I personally, I do trust in Arteta. I think in terms of noise around the club and this idea of it like being now or never, my biggest concern, and this absolutely could easily happen, is just the desperation and the noise around it being now.
Yeah.
Like, is that going to galvanise this group? And how does Arteta deal with that? I think that's his biggest thing this year.
Yeah, I think so. The pressure's, it's never been as big as it is now.
Yeah.
With how strongly Liverpool have recruited, how strongly Chelsea have recruited, Man City as well. It's like you could easily make the argument that Arsenal have potentially fallen behind of those guys a little bit, even though I think it's still anyone's title, really. I do think that is fair to say. Like, you don't know how Liverpool, and obviously we'll talk about them, but like you saw them in the Community Shield on Sunday, there's elements of frailties there. Man City, there's still doubt over Rodri and whether he's going to come back the same player. There's still an opportunity for Arsenal.
Yeah.
But maybe, I think it is a mental block a little bit, or could become a bit of a mental block that it has to be now. I don't think, like, personally, I'm still of the opinion that, and maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about it because there might be too much bias, but if I strip that away, it's like, I can't see any world in which Arteta gets sacked if Arsenal still finish like third next year. Like, I don't think that's realistic. And I know, like,
that feels like a Jaffin question, but like, it's like, how
does he have to go?
How bad's it got to go?
I do think, like, if there's a dramatical decline from Arsenal this year, then obviously there's conversations to be had, but like, they're still pushing, they're still improving, they're backing him. It's like, they're not just going to give up on Arteta if they finish third again, because the league is so competitive. It's like sometimes, and I've been through this with Spurs, it's like almost like right team, wrong time kind of thing, and maybe you're just not quite ready yet. But you could make the argument with the money they've spent, they should be ready. But they're still getting close. It's not like they're regressing.
The question is, what's more powerful? The continuity that allows them to bite down and carry on, and it's still fresh enough for the people to be better and it to go better, and then you get a bit of confidence and you get a bit excited, and you've got the experience as a group of like still youngish players, but so much experience in that Arsenal team now. Or will it be too much? That's the thing that we're just. Yeah. I'm looking forward to finding out now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit like this title race. I think it's going to be an absolute belter. I do. There's so much there. Like, it's going to be so fun. There's so many different narratives that you can spin. Like, the pressure for Arsenal, is it their last chance? Liverpool, the hardest thing to do is to rotate. Like, there's so many variables in this title race.
For Arteta, then, what do you want to assign him as a destiny? I'm gonna go legendary status.
Okay,
he'll win something this year, I think.
But what does he have to win to achieve that? Because would you argue that winning an FA Cup is enough?
No.
Does it have to be the Prem or the Champions League to achieve that?
I think on a for Arsenal, this is dangerous. You do get legendary status for, he's having won 2 FA Cups. It depends how you want to look at it. If you're it's not having to go 14-year-olds, but if you're a 14-year-old fan who just goes, come on, win the Champions League now, then no. But if you're like Rory, like absolutely adores all cup competitions, you should.
You've got to respect the establishment.
Yeah, exactly, always. so yeah, it would be enough there. I think one of the big ones. I think they've got. I think this is a year they'll do something.
What do you think is more likely, the Prem or the Champions League? It's like an impossible question, but
yeah, it is impossible. I think we've actually probably got an easier chance in the Champions League.
Yeah,
there's so much money in the league.
Yeah,
we've got 19 teams to go, so let's move forward.
Yeah.
Where do you want to put them?
I'm going to put. I don't think they'll win something this year, so I'm going to go for treading water.
Is that a cliff edge?
But I don't think it's a cliff edge. Like, there's no way. I think Arsenal, personally, I think they finish third, go close in a couple of cups again, and win nothing.
It's just it's an accumulation of those misses.
Yeah. It's like they're still in the same. They're not moving backwards, but they're not moving forwards enough to bridge that gap. So I'm going to go cliff edge. But treading water. Like, and it's not enough for them to go, do we need to make a change here?
Aston Villa finished 6th last year. Scored 58 goals, conceded 51. Obviously had the Champions League as well. Finally bringing in Garçon of note. Do Aston Villa have a strong enough squad to continue from last season? This time they got Europa League, which is, as we know,
the greatest European competition.
Yes, and Unai's specialty.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the expectations around? That's the thing with Unai Emery. He's done so well with this group. The one thing I'm wondering at some point is, will he have a sort of fallow year with Emery? Just because it sounds like he's very intense.
Yeah.
As a manager.
Yeah.
So for him to, especially with the sort of PSR difficulties that they've had, I think ideally they would have kind of spent more. And they haven't made too many changes.
Yeah.
Having another year of European football, but it being, this is a good question for you, Europa League as opposed to Champions League, does that make your Premier League season easier?
Well, from evidence of Spurs, no, no. But that also, like, there's so many other factors that kind of went wrong with Spurs last season. So, but with Villa, in the first year of them being back in Europe, they were obviously in the Conference League a couple of years ago. They managed that really well. They finished in the top 4 and got to a semi-final of the Conference League, I think, and got knocked out by Olympiacos. And they probably should have won, but maybe it did just reach too much by that point. But there's evidence to say with Villa's previous track record in Europe that they can go deep in both competitions. Ideally, I think they, like you said, with those PSR difficulties, they would have been able to bolster the squad a little bit more to protect Rodgers, to protect Watkins, etc., to maybe protect someone like Abubakar Kamara, who I think is going to be a massive player for them this year if he can stay fit. But obviously, he's got a track record of injuries, quite big injuries as well. I don't think again, like you're talking before about like gut feel. It's like my gut feeling is that does happen to Villa. Like you said, they do have a bit of a fallow year, maybe drop down to somewhere like 8th or 9th, but do push on. But also, like with Villa's, recent history of not winning anything for quite a long time. As a Villa fan, I think you take that trade-off where it's like you finish mid-table or around that and then go hell for leather for the Europa League, because that is so, as evidenced by Spurs, and Man United get to the final, having our worst years ever, it's winnable. It's so winnable. I don't know all the teams that are in it, but
you're right. That is, the Champions League places are so difficult to get, I think, this year.
Yeah, it's so going to be super congested, I think.
Yeah, so I feel like, I actually think they're going to have a good season. Again, you just don't know if they're going to, what injuries they'll have.
Yeah.
If they have some bad injuries, this is obvious, there's not the same outrageous depth that you've got at other squads in the league.
Sounds like from today as well, they might be losing Ramsey to Newcastle.
Really?
So that's another player that's potentially gone. But that's been one in the work. But maybe that also frees them up to do another deal, because it's always, with Villa, it's always been about Ramsey's always linked with the move away so they can get pure profit on the books for PSR and then they can go and spend the money, unless Villa fans might have concerns that is the guess on money being recouped. Maybe.
Yeah, it's one way or the other, isn't it?
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what else they do. But they've not... I really like Jacob Ramsey, but he's not contributing as much as he was previously. But the worry is that if you get an injury to Morgan Rodgers, that's so much of Emery's game plan kind of out the window with how strong
Wendy has had a really good pre-season from what I've read.
I keep forgetting he's still there.
Yeah. But again, that's it, isn't it? It's the injury side of it. Like, I think if they can keep it together, I actually got quite a good feeling about Villa this year. But it's going to be down to injuries and Unai Emery managing that group stage of the Europa League. Because I think they've got about, they've got a few players who play different. Well, they've got 2 good players in most positions. So you've got everyone's going to be playing. Yeah. So everyone's going to be happy from that point of view. But can he just sort of keep winning and keep the intensity up? And can he deal with that at this when the competition is so rife in the
there's a lot of what ifs there. It's like because I think it was a mistake not replacing Asensio, because I think he added a really different dynamic. Again, I think so much of Villa's game and their recruitment has been about a little bit like Newcastle as well, what we've seen this summer, like doubling down on transition, being really super strong on transition, great ball carriers. Asensio added a little bit of magic to that as well to help them when their teams were sitting in, etc. Like, they haven't really done that unless Buendia is the man to then step up and take that mantle a little bit, if he can offer something then potentially. I'm struggling to place Villa. My gut is not great, but I also think they can definitely go deep in that Europa League, and then if they finish 9th or 10th, have a bit of a drop-off in the league and injuries do come back to get them, but they can go deep in that competition.
It's going to be interesting to see if that is becoming a thing of this cheat code of the Europa League.
Yeah.
Like, despite, however you're doing in the league. Yeah. Or maybe it just feels a bit more glaring now. I'm going to go... I think the pressure he'll have to win the Europa League will be huge.
Yeah.
Because
it's
that's
his
what he
thing,
does.
isn't it? Yeah, that's his little trademark.
I think he'll do it, though.
I think he probably will.
Legendary status.
Yeah,
I think he's already got it, but still.
Yep.
Bournemouth. League finish. 9th last year, 58 goals, 46 conceded. They've kept Iraola, which is great.
Yep.
4 of the starting back 5, including the goalkeeper from last season, have gone. Or going. Is Zabani gone yet?
Zabani's gone this morning.
He's gone.
Yeah, literally gone this morning.
News.
Breaking news, guys.
Yeah. So how does Iraola deal with that? Is it like, let's say that he doesn't get in as many players that he probably wants to, and he has brought in 1 or 2.
Yeah.
With the way that they play, do you just sort of double down on that? Or do you become just a touch more pragmatic to not put yourself in the same kind of defensive situations? It's tough.
I'd like to see him maybe try, like Bournemouth at their best are super exciting, super aggressive, super intense, and they can be great to watch. But if you're thinking about Iraola's stock maybe as a manager himself, maybe you would like to see that little bit of adaptation if he was, because when he was linked with the Spurs job, it just felt a little bit too much like doubling down almost on what we already have, and that's why Frank seemed the less sexy option, but like the more sensible option. And I think I would quite like to see that because I think Iraola will still be in these conversations when someone inevitably sacks a manager in like February, or there was rumours about them sacking a manager and be gone at the end of the season. Iraola's name is never going to go away because he has done really well at Bournemouth. The way they play sticks in everyone's minds. They're super exciting to watch, high pressing, all that kind of stuff. Maybe as a manager, you'd like to see him kind of go, okay, right, let's try something a little bit different. Let's rein it in just a touch, make ourselves a little bit less predictable, because their game is so much about winning those second balls in the middle of the pitch and then turning the ball over, super direct, out from the back as well. It's not like they're trying to break through the press at times. It's like, we'll go long, we'll play off the centre forward and run. It's like they're so good at that. But there are also games towards the end of last season where you saw them kind of being caught out. I remember they played against City in the FA Cup, and I was like, City nowhere near at their best. I was like, this is just not working.
Right.
And maybe with losing the defenders in Zabani and Howson that allow you to be super aggressive, maybe he will slightly shift. But then again, like, they might just double down on that in terms of the recruitment. I'm not massively aware of the centre-backs they're linked with to replace.
So I think they've just done Diakite, who's he's not very similar to Dean Huijsen. He's a bit more...
they were also linked with, was it John Lucini
at
Bologna, I think it was. And obviously they've signed Truffaut, who that very much feels like they're doubling down on Kirke. It's like high and wide, crosses into the box. I think for like I don't know whether it's specifically under 21 fullbacks, but I remember seeing a stat when they were initially linked. It's like third or fourth most crosses into the penalty area last season in top 5 leagues, the left back they've signed. So maybe that hints towards them doubling down. But like you said, with the centre half, who I'm not too aware of, then maybe they are starting to shift slightly.
They'll need. I back them to spend money, so I think they'll be okay. And I think you're right though. Is there a bit of subtlety there? Because one thing with Bournemouth, they have got the sort of versatility of their front line.
Yeah,
but they did get a lot of injuries, and like it's because they sprinted more than anyone else.
yeah.
And actually their disciplinary record wasn't great as well because they give more fouls away than anyone else. So sometimes you get some unfortunate sendings off, which I think they had a few. There was one Zabani, I remember. I think it was Wolves.
Yeah. They won against Man United, I think, as well. That was like, was it the other way around? I don't remember that.
But the point is you're kind of putting yourself in that situation. So it's tricky. They've got the second hardest first 5 games. Liverpool, Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton and Newcastle. I'm not sure I believe that as being the worst 5. I think Wolves at home. I mean, how good are you?
I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're
Brighton,
good.
Brighton at home. Not the end of the world. Newcastle, we just don't really know who they are just yet.
Also, like I know we're kind of going back 2 years now, but Iraola, very tricky start at Bournemouth, and he found a way. Like it worked. They kind of, the dividends were paid out a bit longer term. Like they had a really difficult start. They were on the verge almost of sacking him, and he found it. So I do think he will. I don't know.
You don't think he'll get found out like Ange did a bit?
I'm not. No, I don't think so. I don't think so because again, I think part of the reason that Ange was found out was being able to manage that squad 2 games a week, playing that in that manner. Whereas I think Iraola maybe has a bit more license to double down because his squad will, in theory, be a bit fresher.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would like to maybe see them adapt slightly. But I'm thinking of that purely as like if he's still going to be in these conversations as, I don't know, say for example, in Spurs did sack Frank, or like Man United sacked Amorim, or a Villa sacked Emery, like in those kind of conversations, or Newcastle, maybe, I don't know. You'd maybe like to see it, but I think Bournemouth will be fine. I think
is he getting pinched or is his stock just rising? I think he might get pinched.
Yeah, But I don't know. I'm trying to think of
because you haven't got just the problem of the Premier League. You've got elsewhere. So I don't know if there's other jobs that he might be kind of be mooted for.
Yeah, I'll back that. I'll back that. It's definitely somewhere in between Pinch and Stockroyd
fans. And you know, this is a byproduct of having a good manager.
Yeah.
Brentford, Keith Andrews. A lot of people unsure. I watched a video of him being mic'd up. I love them.
Yeah.
And I liked him.
Yeah, I did.
And I wonder if the sort of media disdain about having a rookie manager and him having a confidence like he has could be his downfall. Not to the same extent of like a Nathan Jones, but that kind of like drifting towards that vibe. There's like the odd sentence where you're going, oh, that's a bit. Yeah, it's me saying this. That's a bit Brenty.
Yeah. Is it too on the nose? Like too like new manager trying to win, like curry favour a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and because he's stepping it. It's a job you got to take, and it's a club it's a good club to be at, and there'll be a lot of change for them as well.
Yeah.
And the big one, of course, is Mbomo Visser. Scored 39 of Brentford's 66 goals, more than 50% of their goals.
Yeah.
How do they deal with that? How do they make it work?
I think Kevin Schade was someone who was gradually improving over the course of the last. Yeah, I think he is stopped rising a little bit. So there's a lot of responsibility on him. Obviously, they've got Igor Thiago, who none of us have seen anything from really because of the injuries that he spent out. I know Brentford fans would have obviously seen more than we have. Sure. Yeah. So I don't. They need to. Simple as that. They just need to replace the goals. Damsgaard needs to step up as well. When I say step up, like he is a fantastic player who has stepped up for Brentford, but he's going to have to find another level probably to.
Maybe it's an output thing. Like the performances were good. He was always the pass before the pass, and actually I think he got some good assists actually.
Yeah, it was his goals, wasn't it? It was like there was one point in the season where it was like I can't remember what he ended on, but I think it was like he had second most assists in the league at one point. It was like 2 goals, 11 assists, but it's like you're not seeing for someone who I see him very much as like for someone who's watched Christian Eriksen for such a long time, I just see the same player.
Really?
Genuinely see the same player. And I think like if you can get him in and around the box, I think his ball striking off both feet is pretty good. Set piece threat, as we evidenced from England in the Euros all those years ago. I do think his output probably needs to go up. Yeah, he's a fantastic player. And I think obviously I think with Keith Andrews, it's like I really want him to prove people wrong because I think immediately, like it happened with Brentford last year when they lost Tony. I know they still had Frank and Bumo. Like everyone was right straight away. This is the year they go, and they're doing everyone's doing that this year. Even though
I found it.
Yeah, even though there's more evidence to probably support that claim of like this could be the year they go. Especially if people are like, oh, Sunderland might stay up. It's like someone's got to be sacrificed. And I think a lot more people are doing that with Brentford this year because, rightly so, they've obviously had a manager that's never managed at this level. They've lost their two best players and they're the people that have contributed over 50% of their goal contributions. It's going to be tough, but I don't know. Like,
one must beware Brentford.
Yeah, you can never the wheel does keep turning. Like it does kind of keep turning a bit.
So I think there's a reason Brentford don't spend that amount of money on a striker if he's not it.
Thiago.
So I think it's one where, and Brentford fans do this, they go, we'll be all right. So you've got a choice. You either go, well, I haven't seen that before, so that means bad, or you go, this is unknown. I'm going to trust, the people to fix
most Brentford fans I've seen, and obviously like I've kind of engaged in a lot more Brentford stuff this year because of Frank and like been aware of what they've been kind of saying about everything, and you see people talking about Keith Andrews, it's like they're panicking less than everybody else. It's like everyone's kind of panicking around them. Don't get me wrong, I think there's a few of them that could go, yeah, obviously this could go wrong. Obviously it can. He's never managed at this level, all that kind of stuff. But like they're a lot calmer. I think if you trust their judgment on it, I think they'll just be fine. I think they're obviously going to have a drop off. I think that's inevitable. But I think they'll just be fine.
I agree. I think actually it might work out.
Yeah, I also think Henderson is massive for them.
I do too.
I think it's great. Like really, really good.
But again, from a sort of media point of view, I think it's really easy to turn your nose up at Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
But he's a proper leader.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody was going to everyone when Sunderland got promoted. Everyone was going, what they should do is bring in a load of Premier League experience, and they should bring Jordan Henderson back, and then Brentford do it, and everyone's like,
what are you doing?
Really, Jordan Henderson in 2025? It's like, well, you could apply the same logic. I know Brentford have been a stable Premier League club, but they're going to be fighting for their lives in theory as much as Sunderland are.
Yeah.
So why is Jordan Henderson at Brentford not as good a fit as it is at Sunderland, just because he's got that relationship already existing with the Sunderland fans.
It's because English.
I do think there's a bit of, you can say what you want about Henderson and the decisions that he made to do what he did in his career, and I don't necessarily agree with it. But if you strip that all back, I think as well, what it is with Henderson and the reason that people have turned their noses up at him is because he's still involved in the England squad, and everybody's gone, there's no way that we should be moving into a World Cup in 2026 with him still around with the midfield talent that we've got. So that's affected his reputation even more, I think.
But also, again, look closer. Why is he in there?
Exactly.
Because he's obviously got, and it's not everything.
Yeah.
But it might be something.
But they've also got players like Yarmoliuk in that midfield. They've also signed another young, I forget his name.
Milambo.
Yeah, from Feyenoord, was it?
Yeah.
Who's a really exciting young midfielder. They're going to need someone like a Henderson in there replacing.
Yeah.
It's like as a like-for-like replacement for Norgard, that is absolutely fine. Keep it simple. Like, I think it's good. I think Brentford will be fine. I don't think Keith Andrews' reputation is necessarily going to...
Will he make it? Will he make it
to the end of the season? Yeah.
I agree.
I think so. Yeah.
I think stock rising for Keith.
Do you know, I think it could, even if he doesn't, I think it could be like a Rob Edwards situation where, I know obviously it's not worked out for him long term, but like everyone was so hot on Rob Edwards even when Luton were in that relegation battle. And it's like, maybe because
that's
he
the only one
spoke
they could
really
be.
well and he was handsome.
Could be end of season handshake. Could be end of season handshake.
Potentially, if they go, okay, actually, this was what we
kind of got away with it, but we maybe need.
This is what we needed to do at the time. It was the right. But they did though. They interviewed like quite a lot of high profile.
Yeah, a lot of people would have wanted
managers.
that gig, wouldn't they?
Yeah, Farioli, I think the Ajax manager who's gone to somewhere else. I can't remember. Like that, he was interviewed. I'm pretty sure by Brentford. That would have been really exciting. Everyone would have gone, oh, okay, right. Brentford are moving in the right direction. They've kind of gone a young, exciting manager from a league like who was playing Champions League football, Europa League football last season. I can't remember with Ajax, but
yeah.
I think I like it. Come on. I think stock rising. If I think they're going to stay up, I think it has to be stock rising. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like people are going to be going, wow, what a manager. But maybe it's a case of like he's proved the doubters wrong.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if we were like, what were you worried about? This is so
yeah.
Although I've got a mate who's like, when Frank goes, we'll go down. So we don't know. We'll find out, won't we? It's exciting. Brighton. Finished 8th last year, scored 66 goals. Did they finish 8th?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember that. Scored 66, conceded 59. Big question, will Hurzeler feel like he has the squad to go again this season? And I'm sure my bigger question with Brighton, actually, because I think it leads to then the feeling around Hurzeler, is that there is so much depth in this Brighton squad. It's enormous. And there's a lot of talent there. The problem is, I don't think anyone knows how good they are. And therefore, you can't really set an expectation on them. And I think that makes it, as a group, a little bit, subconsciously, of course, it all trying to do as well as you can, but it causes this sort of ability to have a bit of a cop-out, or you draw some games, but it's not that big a deal. Because
nobody expects us to finish in Europe.
So when you've got that much talent in a group, like, someone needs to like make it angry. Do you know? Someone needs to kind of go, hang on, this is like this is as good as it might get.
Yeah.
So we need to move now. We've not got any European football, and so So I'd love to hear it. So on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this, Brighton fans in particular, let me know what your expectations are, because I think it's okay to still be grateful.
Yeah.
But to go, come on now,
let's push.
Yeah, and I feel like Brighton is that place, and so if that is the case, then that's where the expectation and thus the pressure on Hurzeler will probably come in.
If you look at that, I know obviously they've lost João Pedro, but there is always someone that emerges to take the throne at Brighton, isn't there? And I feel that it could be Ruta. Ruta got that injury last season, and he was amazing in those kind of few months before he picked that up.
I wasn't sure, but after last year and this pre-season as well, him and O'Reilly look really good.
Yeah, but there's rumours that O'Reilly might be going.
Oh, really? Oh, Juventus are sort of.
Yeah. I think they will keep hold of Baleba. I think at least for one more year. So that's obviously positive. I can't see United spending that sort of money. But like I said, there is always someone that emerges and takes that kind of attacking throne. And João Pedro is obviously a big personality in that team that will be lost. And like you said, in terms of someone going, oh, come on, guys, like we are actually better than that. We can, because if you look at their squad and the young talent they've got, and also the blend of experience and the sheer depth, you could argue that they are in a more settled place than Spurs.
Yep.
Newcastle, maybe, although I know Newcastle haven't actually technically lost anyone yet. But there's obviously, it's very much a disrupted summer so far.
I'd be intrigued to see like the market value of the Brighton squad versus the Tottenham squad.
Brighton's is probably, I don't know. I mean, Baleba, if you're believing reports, 100 million. But then would that be his market value? I guess probably not.
Yeah. But I mean, I just think, I don't know. I'm happy to sort of do it for Brighton fans and see it as a compliment. Like, I would say, like, come on, Hurzeler.
Yeah.
And I guess, because even him, he's just a baby, isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just leave him alone. He's like,
just go, well, that, you know, everyone's safe, everyone's fine.
Yeah,
It's all okay. Like, I think they should. And I don't think Hurzeler has that attitude, by the way. Like, I've met him once, and like you could tell he's he's switched on.
Just because I'm young, I'm not.
Yeah, it's almost a little chip on his shoulder. I would suggest,
as in like I shouldn't be like. Almost the perception is I should be grateful for this opportunity when actually no, I'm here to.
Well, I think it's more of a mix of I'm a winner. It doesn't matter what age I am, but also I would imagine there's a natural sort of projecting of, well, I am the leader of this football club.
Yeah.
Even though I'm 32, I kind of have to behave that way to sort of look to push the group forward, because it's such an opportunity there.
Yeah.
For a manager, it's such an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you can trust the recruitment, you can trust the numbers that you've got there. You've got so many that you can kind of have a look at. There's so much talent there.
Recruitment's been good this summer, I think, as well. Like the double down on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Coppola coming in, Boscagli coming in as well. De Kuyper, it almost feels like they're shifting towards a 3 at the back kind of system. So again, he's evolving as a manager. I think Minter and Gruder are on the verge of just like exploding into something really, really exciting. Minter especially.
Minter looks really good.
I think you saw that in kind of fits and spurts last season. But I think, again, like I said, I do think Ruta will be the guy that takes the reins. But again, I do feel like you'll see improvements in those other guys as well.
Yeah.
Matoma staying is big as well. Like Matoma's 28 now. He's been around there for quite a long time.
I feel like he's older, don't you? But he's not. Yeah.
So
so what's the situation with Hurzeler then?
I think stock rising. I think Brighton are going to have a good year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really up for grabs for those European places. I think 5th to 9th is going to be super congested, but they have got some real X factor in that attack that can kind of swing games their way.
Yeah.
But it's that will be so tight. But I do think they've got that. I don't know.
So yeah, your stock rising, because I don't think he's getting pinched, because if he does well, he'd want to stay.
Yeah. Also, like, I know what we just said about his age not really mattering and stuff like that, but will other clubs see it? Will other clubs want to give him another year? Like a bit like Iraola, for example. Like, will certain clubs maybe go, right, let's see what he does for another season?
That's true.
But
again, it's like Brighton's such an appetizing place to be.
Yeah.
Why would you move on? Burnley. How can Scott Parker lean into the defensive solidity next season? I mean, we're kind of giving an answer in the question there. I think they conceded, if anyone doesn't know, probably have heard about this, but like 16 goals they conceded last year. Defensively outstanding. James Trafford, they have lost. I'm a bit... I'd love to know people's thoughts on this actually as well. How much do you care about your goalie? Like, losing Trafford is huge, but it is a goalie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's replaceable.
I feel like goalies are quite replaceable.
Yeah. I think obviously it's a big loss for them. He was a big part of it. But if I was a Burnley fan, I'd rather keep Maxime Esteve than Trafford. Like,
yes.
That's a obviously they've lost
Egan Riley.
Egan Riley.
Yeah, I would have kept him probably over Trafford.
That's
as well.
a bigger loss, I think, than Trafford.
Yeah.
I think it was inevitable that Trafford was going to go anyway. Like, it's been last summer, Newcastle flirted. This summer, Newcastle flirted, and City kind of obviously went in and did their thing.
So, because Scott Parker steps into this as well, like with his own, what's the word? Like,
he's got
caricature of himself.
Yeah, he's got demons to fight, I think, isn't he? Because
he's got a point to prove.
Yeah, he had obviously there was moments.
He's never kept the team up, has he?
No, he got relegated with Fulham, and then Bournemouth he was sacked within 3 games after they lost 9-0 to Liverpool. And I feel like that you're only as good as your last Premier League game, and his last Premier League game was getting battered 9-0 at Anfield. And it was like, he's done some really good work at Burnley that he deserves a respect for. But in the Prem, no one's having it, I don't think. I don't think it's fair necessarily. I think you've got to judge him with a different side, with a totally different outlook, I think, at Burnley. He made them super solid defensively.
I think you do double down on that.
I think you have to, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to survive, they're going to have to do that.
Yeah, well, that's why the Egan Riley one is a loss.
Yeah.
I feel like they've taken risks here and there. I kind of want to believe in them.
Yeah, don't feel great about Broya, though, I'll be honest.
No, I don't either.
I don't like that.
It's the thing. Are we? You're going to go, well, look, I think that looks like a striker, and I've seen him kind of hold up the ball sometimes.
Yeah.
I said the sort of same thing with my predictions. I was kind of, but to bank on him.
Yeah, with the injuries that he's had as well. Like, he's been very unfortunate. And I think Broya has always been a player that he's in there. Like, you saw that at Southampton. Like, when I know obviously Southampton in and around that time. It was a season before they went.
It was 21. It was a while back now.
22.
He only scored 6. I had a look.
Yeah. But he almost felt maybe more exciting than he actually was. Maybe that's because of his attitude and stuff as well. He was almost like a little baby Mitrovic as well, I think, in terms of like, I'm a bit angry and I'm a bit like, I'm a presence. Like, I think people took to him quite a lot. 23
million. I guess, how much more you get. It's a risk.
Yeah,
it's a risk, but it could really pay off.
Yeah.
It could really, really pay off for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's no way you can kind of open up this Burnley team and kind of hope for anything else. And I think from what we've seen with Scott Parker before, I think overall he probably is more conservative than...
Yeah. They've signed Leslie Ogochukwu as well, haven't they? Which I think that's brilliant.
Do you?
Yeah, I really like that. I do really like that.
I think 28.7 million, a lot.
Yeah.
But Chelsea, it's one of those ones that I've always kind of gone, well, he was at Chelsea, so he must be all right.
Yeah.
But at Southampton, I wasn't outrageously impressed, if I'm honest.
Okay.
So we'll see. But they've got a bit of size about them, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like, are they going to look... Yeah, I don't hate Burnley at all.
No.
It's just such a hard league now.
Yeah. I feel better about them than Leeds. Weirdly, because I think a lot of people are like I don't know, Gavin chat about it, but like I think when Leeds, everyone thinks about but when they're playing at Ellen Road and stuff, there's such a hard place to go. Their recruitment's been okay as well. They've kind of doubled down on the defensive side as well, and I mean, still question marks to be done about the striker position and stuff like that. But I think people are banking too much on the feel a bit of Leeds and their status, whereas Burnley, you could argue they're coming into the league in a more solid place.
Quietly getting on with it.
Yeah.
Scott Parker then. Will he make it? I fear.
I think end of season handshake. I actually think he will make it.
Do you?
Through the season, yeah.
If you're in the bottom 3, I think you just don't survive really.
Yeah, one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I not gone by November, but I think we might have to do like...
Gone by Feb?
Gone by Feb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gone by Feb.
It's usually around like an international break or something, isn't it? Where it's like, right, do we make the change now?
Well, yeah, there's always the October panic.
Yeah.
I think there's someone else who I think will go in the October panic.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he might just... And I really like him.
I really want it to work.
Him. He's a really good lad.
Yeah.
And he's such a captain.
Yeah.
And you saw that when he played.
Oh,
I'd love to see him do it. My gut suggests that if you're a team that's in the bottom 3, the manager changes.
Yeah.
Although McKenna didn't last year.
True.
You never know.
True.
Next up is Chelsea. Finished 4th last season.
Yeah.
Where did you think Chelsea will do well then this year?
I had them 4th, but I think that still represents a really good season.
I think the points will go up.
Yeah.
A solid amount.
Yep.
How do you keep everyone happy and ensure the entire squad feels involved in something bigger? Bit of criticism over boring football at times last season as well. Does that need to change? Obviously, on a bit of a high from the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
And there's a good feeling about the whole group, but you've got a lot of high-quality players who will have someone of a similar age and experience in front of them. So it'd be interesting to see if you can kind of keep all these young lads buzzing.
Yeah.
Or... Is maturity one of the biggest issues that he'll have to deal with this year?
Probably. I think also losing someone like Levi Colwill, who's such a presence in that team, is a big blow. I think he was improving as a player, but also like as a I know he isn't their captain. I don't think he's their captain, but like as a captain on the pitch, like
I agree with you.
I think that's a big loss. But I think in terms of like the antidote to boring football and keeping the youngsters happy, like you've got. I was watching the game on Friday and like Esteval. I was just like, this kid is not going to care, I don't think. As long as he's playing, I think it's just like, wow. I think he's good.
Because I didn't see that one, but I saw him over the Club World Cup and he was, it felt like too much.
Especially where they played Chelsea, I think as well, where there was, I think they scored in that game to be fair, like, but it was almost like there was so much focus on him.
I think the whole tournament, there was so much focus on him. I think and it was really tough for him.
Yeah.
And you could see that. So yeah,
he had moments, didn't he? But yeah, he was really exciting, and the link up with Palmer as well. Like Esteban on the right, Palmer in the 10, kind of dovetailing off each other, floating into each other's spaces. It was like if these two click, then it could be really, really scary. And I think Palmer's going to take what we saw in the Club World Cup final, that confidence through to the season. I also think one thing I like about Chelsea is there's been so much noise around them. I really like the fact they're leaning into the guys that are going to prove people wrong. I quite like that. And I don't like Chelsea, obviously, as a Spurs fan. But Chelsea, I think they need to go back a little bit to being nasty.
Be the bad guys.
Be the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I think they are kind of almost leaning into that a little bit. And I do feel like, obviously, there were fair criticisms of Maresca. There was fair criticism over the football and all that kind of stuff. But it almost like feels like there's just something them against us happening there. And I feel like they can get through games off the back of that as well. Like,
yeah,
I like
I think you've got a few players that are, it's sort of like they're a bad guy, but in a sort of in a jealousy sense, in the sense of like, oh, Caicedo's just a bit too good, so you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Or do you know what I mean? Or Delap, I was like, he's a bit there's something sort of nasty about him, so you're the bad guy. It's that. I think they're cultivating something pretty awesome, if I'm honest. And I don't want to say that either, but I can't. Get
I also
away
think
from
like there's a few pieces of the recruitment that I have kind of raised my eyebrows at. And I know there's been so much conversation about Chelsea going like, why are they buying this player? Like they've already got so and so and so and so. Simmons, I get. I think there will be times where they play almost like 2-10s and Palmer and Simmons are in there. You'll maybe move someone like Pedro over to the left, or they'll play Gittins and they'll rotate Pedro and Delap up front, or whoever it is. There'll be times where they play with two strikers. There's going to be a lot of rotation. I think you saw that was one thing that Maresca was toying with in the Club World Cup, a bit like Pep. There was definitely different styles of play.
Every single game, yeah.
Every single game. And that was Chelsea fans' biggest criticism. Like, why are we still passing out from the back? Why are we playing exactly the same way against every single team? But I think Maresca's kind of learned from that and tweaking, and having a big squad and the embarrassment of riches they do allows him to do that. There's a few signings where I look at it and go, do they actually need Garnacho? I'm not sure.
No, I think Garnacho is a bad idea.
Like, that's the one I don't get. But the rest of it, like you said, I do think they're cultivating something pretty... And I do think a lot of it, because there's so much noise around Chelsea and rule breaking and FFP and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to separate that. But if you can, they're building a squad that everybody should want their club to build. Like in an ideal world, it's like we all want to be Chelsea.
Yeah, it's like the end product. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think there'll be a lot of room for a lot of these players. Like there will be a lot of game time shared around.
Can Maresca deal with? So my question, the question that Maresca's going to have to like tackle for me is, I think they'll be fine in terms of they'll have a lot of games and they'll all get some game time, and he'll be happy to change it. For me, it's always December, January, February. Chelsea. That's where like it gets really dark.
Yeah, well,
literally
last year. Yeah,
like Maresca. Every year they're in some sort of malaise come February.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happened last year, wasn't it? December they were flying high. I remember they beat us just before Christmas, and they were like, you were looking at that team thinking, oh, we were bad on the day or whatever, but like that was when they were in a really good run, beating good teams away from home, and then it got to Christmas. I remember they lost on Boxing Day to Fulham at home, and it was almost like. After that, it just went. Yeah, like when peaked on, it was like they lost to Ipswich away.
That's the thing they've got to resolve is as they enter that period.
Yeah,
who are they? Like, are they in the running to win the league? And then, because I think most people aren't saying that they're going to win the league, but they could be much closer. Yeah. So if they're going to not win the league but be much closer, they're going to have a wobble at one point, and I would. Guarantee.
Probably it's around then.
It's around that December, January, February time.
And then he found it again in April, didn't he? Sort of. They beat Liverpool. I know Liverpool were on the beach by that point after winning the league, but like it was like that was impressive.
So that's for me the thing with him. I think you've got a lot of people happy to compete with each other, right? But I think when you get to that bit and everyone's going, "Can Chelsea really win the league?"
Yeah.
And everyone's going, "Yes, they can. Yes, they can." When you then have a little wobble of 3 games. It not all falling apart.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Because you've got the rest of the season to finish off, which you kind of got away with last year. Not got away with it. It was a Conference League, so you should be winning that, right?
Yeah, of course. And also they had the big hitters coming. They didn't use the big hitters in the squad in the first phase, and then in the knockouts, that's when Palmer came in and all that. So again, that's something that they're going to have to manage as well. Like Cole Palmer was protected quite a lot Chelsea last season. Didn't play any Conference League football to the second half of the season.
Yeah,
Champions League football. He's going to be a player that you expect to shine on the big stage. So it's like, but then again, they are bringing in Xavi Simons, so they can rotate it. I do think one thing I like about Chelsea is I'm a big fan of Nicholas Jackson, right? But I do think Pedro offers them something just completely different. Jackson is such an amazing facilitator that can still be quite frustrating in front of goal. Pedro, although his goal scoring numbers have never been insane at Brighton, you saw it in the Club World Cup in that first game against Fluminense. Team sitting in deep, give me the ball on the edge of the box, I'm going to whip it in the top corner.
He looks happy there.
Yeah, he does. And it's like he'll happily float around and combine with other players.
Him and Palmer,
It's crazy. And Jackson, there were so many times where it's like with Jackson, it's like, if you just like shift the ball out your feet and have a go. Like, it's so long to... I feel that with Solanke sometimes as well. It's just like,
striker mindset.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not sure he believes himself.
Yeah, which Pedro definitely does.
Yeah, I think
the
best strikers
as well. I think as well.
Yeah, I think the best strikers are like a little bit too far.
Yeah, like Kane. I'm gonna shoot.
Do I really want to be mates with a striker? Probably not.
No.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They are what they are. They can be mates with themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky Troy's not here. I said that.
Yeah.
So with Maresca then,
stock rising for me.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I think they're closer to winning something. I know Chelsea fans will argue about winning something big, but when I say big, I mean Premier League and Champions League. They're getting closer to that. I don't think they'll achieve that necessarily this season, but
they are. League Cup, couldn't they, or something like that?
Yeah, and that's enough. Again, you said about Rory earlier, right? That's respecting the establishment.
Yeah, we must.
I think stock rising for me.
Palace. How does Glasner get the most out of this side? Romano's talking about Tottenham being interested in Eze. We're going to do a podcast on Spurs, so we'll dive into that probably a little bit more. My question, I hate every time we talk about Palace, I'm talking about people leaving them.
I was getting so wound up watching the, and bear in mind we're in for one of these players as well. Like I was getting so wound up watching the coverage of the Community Shield on Sunday where they were speaking to Steve McManaman about Liverpool going, oh, how amazing is it to have Ekitike and Wirtz? And then Joel Ward, bless him, was the pundit for the Palace side. And I think it was Laura Wood's turn and was like, so how are Palace going to cope without Gueye and Eze? Could this be the last game? And it was like, oh, come on.
I'm sick of it too. I hate myself. I absolutely, because I growing up, I used to really hate Palace.
Yeah.
Because they were quite like, they were sort of close enough to us that it was like, stop it. And they'd beat us quite often.
Yeah.
Then they kind of obviously have gone. But there's so much to like about kind of what they are.
Yeah.
But then within the food chain of the Premier League, it's just really hard. Like if you do well and you're smart, and it's something that you have to accept and exploit.
Yeah.
Is you have to utilize the market value of those players that you've got whilst they're kind of hot.
Which is Eze is the prime example of
disappointing.
That. Yeah.
To have to do that.
They've been super unlucky. Obviously, they've had the court case go against them, which I do feel like in terms of sporting integrity is incredibly unfair.
Yeah.
Also, they've been unlucky with Spurs' situation. With Maddison doing that injury has meant that I don't think Spurs would have gone for Eze because I don't think he's the. If Frank wanted like another winger, for example, which is obviously we're talking to Savinho, and another player in that kind of mould, I don't actually think Eze was the sort of player that he was maybe actually looking at for Spurs. I think there was always like, yeah, of course we're always going to be interested, but Arsenal are there.
Yeah.
But that has probably sprung Spurs into action and gone, well, with the severity of the Maddison injury, we have to do something now. It's a bit of a tap in. Let's go and do it. And they've just been a bit unlucky in that aspect as well, because I think if this had dragged on longer than this week, because his release clause expires on Friday, I don't think Arsenal would have
going to get all the way to Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's like I don't think it would have. I think Palace would have actually kept him. I think they would have, but I think it's like I think something could happen this week, and I think if Spurs are really really serious about it, and Arsenal don't facilitate the money through a sale, which seems like the big stumbling block for them. It's almost like not now or never. It's like I think it's now or it doesn't happen this window.
Yeah.
And I think that injury to Maddison has almost put Palace in a tricky spot where Spurs are just going to come and hopefully, from our perspective, come big. But
I was just having a quick look at similar players to Eze.
Yeah.
And Christian Pulisic, Mateus Cunha.
The one for me
Fermin Lopez.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Trossard.
Swap deal.
It's an interesting. Nicolas Paz as well, which obviously would be amazing, but a lot of people linked with him. Because I think the question here for Glasner is, I think with Mark Gueye, again, back to the point about, I think in different positions, there are different pressures that are put on you.
Yeah.
And look, you don't want to lose someone like Mark Gueye, and it'll be interesting if that happens or not. But if he were to go, I think there are other centre-backs that you could maybe kind of go in and get away with it. Let's say.
Yeah.
Like they did with Chalobah last season. You bring someone of that quality in.
Yeah, and they've got Lacroix there as well. He's fantastic.
So good. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say it, but he's next. But the pressure to lose that creativity of Eze when you know what your team is, you know how this team plays.
Yeah.
And Sarr's so great there. They're all great in their places, and you don't want to kind of break all of that. So the guy that comes in, there's a lot of that's got to kind of work.
Especially as Eze, bear in mind he was the one that got them to lift the cup. He's almost been immortalised more than someone like a Zaha, who with Zaha they were more of a one-man team and the pressure was all on him. Whereas that's not as much as the case with Eze now. There's more around him like a Sarr. They've got an excellent midfield in Wharton, and if I know Decore's had a bit of a setback apparently, like there's more around. They've got a great striker in Mateta, but because Eze has now been elevated to that status after what he did, then it is going to be a massive expectation.
The sparkle that he can provide, the ability to kind of, teams are so organised now, to have someone who just can't, I don't know what you're going to do. I think that's really special. Or I'm not sure I can stop it.
Yeah.
There's very few players like that.
The guy for me is El Canouse, I think, at Leicester. I think.
Oh yeah, he's been linked with you, he's been linked with Leeds.
Newcastle as well. Someone who can drop deep, progress the ball through the thirds, but has got that magic in the final third as well. Like I'd said it actually on a Zach Jalab's podcast a few weeks ago. We did a segment where it was like the ideal signing for every Premier League club. And I was like, if Eze was to go, I think that he's profile-wise like a really perfect replacement for Palace.
Do you know what's a bit of a killer for him is Buonanotte, Enciso.
Yeah, they've got so much depth. It's like they're looking at them.
So
it's
many
like,
tens.
Yeah.
Like, can we have one of them?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. Obviously, Palace and Brighton is just not going to happen. But that's the big one for Glasner, and I think with Glasner as well. Like he's done. It's still such an exciting season for Palace. They need to, be careful, I guess, in the Premier League and not get sucked into something.
Yeah, but that Conference League is there.
Yeah,
like,
the Conference League is totally there for them, and you want them to. You want to go deep in that. You want to enjoy that. You want to win that to get yourself in the Europa League, because that is such a game changer for them. So for Glasner, I think it's one where I think he could be pinched if he's just I've got to take this job.
I think it is pinched. I think he was like,
Palace, I'm sorry, guys.
I know it's horrible.
Finn, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, he was like he did a press conference before the Community Shield, and he sounded quite frustrated at the lack of movement and the lack of business. And obviously, there is that cloud over Palace at the moment. And I say cloud, I mean I think everyone's on their side.
Once you've sold the guys, don't you?
Yeah, and they could, if they did sell Eze this week or before the end of the window.
How much?
Well, it's 60. His release clause is believed to be 68 million, with a big chunk of that paid up front. That's a lot of money to come in for Palace and improve a few positions. And obviously for you, that's like,
come on,
you're seeing a bit of that as change as well.
A cheeky, high quality striker that can send us all the way up to the Prem.
But I think I do feel like he's getting a bit, like last season, they did a bit of business quite early. But again, I think they were he felt like they were left a bit short by the end of it. And I'm getting similar vibes now. And then if they, like, I think Gay will go as well. So I think there is a real chance they lose both of them. And
Parish is speaking about, like, look, he needs to sign a contract.
He's been very open about it.
Got to get some cash for him.
Yeah,
and there are still a couple of teams that kind of be, Liverpool probably still having a look. Chelsea might be having a look again.
Yeah, with Colwell gone. Yeah. I think pinched. I think there's a job that comes up for him, sadly for Palace, because I think he's an amazing manager with an amazing legacy there now and could do something really special. But I do think it's a job will open up.
I'm going to go end of season handshake, but different kind. Like you win the Conference League, and then
go
I'm happy.
Actually, no, you are right, because I don't see him go. I actually don't see him leaving Palace mid-season. So I do think that makes same logic, but that's,
and they will spend money once they get it.
Yeah,
Everton. How can Moyes make sure he balances the midfield next season? So signings are exciting. Everton, after I think about 8 transfer windows, they had to be crazy careful.
Yeah,
they've now been able to bring in, and they needed to. Like they were light. At the start of this summer because they trimmed the fat. Dewsbury Hall's come in. Jack Grealish is on loan.
So good.
You got Alcaraz as well. You got Njai, who's obviously kind of more of a forward, but you got he's not going to be right on the last man because that's going to be Beto or Barry. So he's kind of got to get that right. You got James Garner, who I really like as a midfielder.
He's had a great pre-season as well, Garner. What I've seen, he's been really good.
Idrissa Gueye had a great season last season as well. So there's lots to be excited about. I get the big question is one, obviously that midfield, which I don't think that's a problem. And I think I think you have that battering ram, and then because they might still get Dibbling as well.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting if they've kind of walking away from that now, or it's just Southampton trying to push it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone does that by the end of the window, because I think it was the sell-on clause which was the stumbling block, wasn't it? Right. Southampton wanted 25% on a deal that was going to cost Everton nearly 50 million. It's like at that point, if Dibbling catches fire at Everton, he's going to be an 80-90 million pound player probably in a few years. With the way the market's going, are Everton going to see enough of that money when the time comes to sell? So is it worth it for them? But he would be great. Like the only thing is I'm sort of looking at it thinking, where do they, I know depth obviously, but where's everyone fit?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like
Grealish,
shoehorning a
are you going to
few.
put Grealish on the left, or are you going to let him be Villa Grealish?
Yeah.
Where he's I've always really liked him in a more of a central role, but
Yeah.
personally, maybe you let Njai stay out on the left.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's why I like Njai. Sort of left half space, kind of coming off the wing.
I think Alcaraz is on the bench now, to be honest. And then I think Dewsbury
Hall's
kind of play. Yeah, he plays a 10 against Roma in the preseason game. Has a versatility about him. Yeah, they're getting a little bit more stacked there. The floor's quite high with Everton, so it's good. It's so Moyes.
Yeah, I love it.
It honks of.
It's like Steven Pienaar. Like Tim, they're bringing in the Mavericks, and also like there's players there that could be really cult hero, like proper cult heroes at Everton.
Yeah. And Beto and Barry, like they're just like battering rams.
Yeah.
Like,
Barry's so fun. Like I don't know how much he's going to catch fire this season, but like I'm looking forward to seeing him try. Like like I want to see it. Like I don't know.
And if you can get Dibbling on the right hand side, then you got something really, really exciting going forward.
Yeah.
And that's the misconception with David Moyes, is that his teams are boring.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think they're sort of industrious.
Yeah.
I don't think that needs to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've got some fun players there.
I said that in a video the other day. I was like, Moyes came back to Everton in January with a mission to make them fun again. And then I had a load of West Ham fans in my comments being like, Moyes and fun in the same sentence. So I was like, all right, maybe not for you, but one, he still won you a trophy. And also, like, I remember watching West Ham in Europe at times.
Yeah,
like they were exciting.
But people say as well, like all this tappy stuff, they don't like it anymore. You got to. Having a centre forward who's going to munch some centre back. I fucking love that. Yeah. There's absolutely enough. Or a winger. And West Ham had elements of that at times. I get it. It was like at times it was hard work. But
Rice driving forward from picking up the ball in his own box to then driving forward to the other. But that's exciting. It might not be like dropping a shoulder and doing a step over. But
what's going to happen with how will the season end for Moyes then?
I think it's different. This is in terms of this like barometer. It's weird with him because
I think he was already in
legendary status anyway. And I feel like if they have a good season where they finish 10th, 11th, that's amazing. And if they can maybe get on, they've got enough Maverick players there to get to a cup semi-final, potentially. Yeah. Like it will just immortalise the legendary status even more, especially with the context of it being first year in the new stadium and the new era and all that kind of stuff.
The stadium thing, I just don't. Normally, I'll be like, new stadium, all that history. Yeah. I just think they absolutely need a clean break.
Yeah.
And I think it's like they couldn't have been more perfect. Fulham. Ooh. Fulham's a funny one.
Yeah.
Because again, solid squad, continuity's there. I feel like he will be there and do, be professional. I think he wants
end of season handshake, I think, for me. Yeah. I think he's been linked with so many moves over the last few years. Again, he was another one that was in the frame for the Spurs job and all that kind of stuff. If another job akin to that comes up by the end of this season, but they've not really done much business, have they, Fulham either? And I think it's like there's actually, I was with Henry like last week, Henry Hill, and he was like, there is an opportunity for, again, like stable squad. Like there's good players there. There's like an opportunity, but we don't seem to be necessarily grabbing it.
I think there's so many teams like this. All the mid-table teams are waiting for want of a better word, scraps, but it's not. They're like really high-end scraps.
Yeah.
Like, and Fulham, I think all these clubs are actually quite calm in that sense of like when it gets to that kind of last week, like there's no way Palace have not got the next guy as a replacement. Or you don't spend that money until you got the money in the bank account. No, that makes sense.
But Fulham haven't really got anybody to set. It's not like the Palhinha a couple of years ago. It's like we're going to get good money for him. It's like they've just got a good stable squad, but nobody's really looking at any of the guys to maybe.
And who do you want to give up on in that group? Like you're not like they're linked with Zinchenko. Like okay, fine, and actually he'd be quite useful because you can play midfield or you can play left back or whatever. But you're not gonna put him in front of Robinson, Bassey and Anderson. They're your starters.
Yeah,
like you kind of know generally the team. So I think the only place that you probably might change something up is the striker position, maybe.
Because Muniz is actually one of the ones that has been linked with him. I know Jimenez is obviously there as well, but
so we'll see how that one kind of plays out. But I just feel like Silva's done such a good job there. I think he wants.
Yeah. Do you think it's almost like gentleman's agreement vibes? Maybe it's like you've done. I know that never works in football, but it's like maybe they go to, if a job comes up, maybe they won't stand in his way this time.
Yeah, I feel like I'll be amazed if just because we haven't used it, gone by next November. I think I'd be amazed if he's still there next November.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll do anything wrong, and I don't think they want to get rid of him.
Yeah, it's not going to be a performance issue.
No, it's going to be like there's a gig.
Yeah, I think the same.
So I'm going to go, got my next November.
Let's use it.
That worked out. Yeah. Next up, Leeds United. So this is my gone by November.
Yeah. yeah.
And do you know what? I was, oh God, I can't remember the channel now. I wish I could remember it. I don't want to say it in case it's wrong. But I was watching, You Know Who You Are. You were with your dad and walking away from AC Milan, and you both were like, we're going to be hard to beat. They were very chirpy.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those ones where it's not like, oh well, it's you two down there. It's kind of, they'll be a solid, and they were way too good for the Championship, which is another issue, a different issue. And the physicality that they brought into the squad would allow them to compete on some levels, but will it just be enough? To get them? I think they'll get over 30 points.
Yeah.
Maybe just underneath.
I don't think it'll be I can't remember what the line. What was the line last year?
It was bad. I don't think anyone got over 30 points out of those bottom three. Generally, in my head, it was always you need 35 to be safe.
Yeah.
34.
40 was always a bit of a myth, wasn't it?
Yeah, bollocks,
That was absolute bollocks.
Yeah. Whereas in the Championship, you need, even if you think you're safe, you need 50 points. You need 50 points. So yeah, my problem here is I'm going to have a look at the fixtures here. The
opening day, I think, is Everton at home. I think.
So they've got Everton. Everton at home. Great. Probably a good opportunity. It could be horrible too, actually. The more I think about it. Yeah. See, I go there as a QPR fan. I'm like, okay, we're playing them and they're quite confident. No, this could be bad.
Yeah.
Then Arsenal, then Newcastle at home, then Fulham away, then Wolves away. So there's opportunity there a little bit.
You're earmarking Wolves as an opportunity. Definitely,
sure.
I think.
Newcastle at home might be harder than you think. Fulham away is actually probably harder than you think. I mean, the league is harder than you think.
Yeah.
For me, the question with him is how does he navigate a bad start?
Yeah.
That's my concern. Is I think if Sunderland have a bad start or even Burnley have a bad start, I think everyone will be like, well, no, hang on. It's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like with Leeds, the feeling around, and I might be miles off here, so happy to be told that I'm wrong. He nearly got the sack after they got promoted, didn't he?
There was so much chat about Leeds are like, okay, we need to make a statement of intent and ambition. Do we actually just let go? This was literally days after they won the league. It was, and because I remember everyone going, no, Leeds, this is the right thing. They should get rid of him. No disrespect to him, but it was like, and then they didn't. And it's like, that. I think he's the banker for like the first manager's sack just because of that.
Feels
because
like
it's like,
it, doesn't it?
People know there's a vulnerability there with him, and it's like if he gets off to a bad start. Also, Leeds are an ambitious club, like with the way that they've kind of been moving with off the field stuff and money coming into the club and that.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they made some big push at the end, certainly for a striker. I think they have to have their eye on someone.
Well, there's a lot of chat about Muniz from Fulham to Leeds, which I think makes a lot of sense.
I saw an article with Garcia from Real Madrid. And I was
what, the guy that just spawned in the Club World Cup?
Yeah, I was like, I mean, he was unreal. I just wouldn't. I can't see it happening, obviously. But yeah, so the other thing I think from on the pitch situation for Leeds is they were so dominant in games, and the likes of Nonto and Perot in particular, he did really well, and maybe he's ready for the Premier League. Who knows? But they dominated the ball. And they dominated territory. Yeah. And that's not going to happen as much because I think they may struggle to get the ball through the thirds a little bit with the midfield that I'm seeing. Like, it's not bad midfield, but it's like SUBSTACK is actually, I think people will really like him. Kind of Polina vibes.
I was going to say, you've watched more of Leeds than me. Is it more meat and potatoes than kind of like, was that harsh?
Last season they were too good for the league, so you're kind of like you're just looking around and go, oh, there's so many names here. Yeah. Manor Solomon's gone back, hasn't he, as well?
He's still at Spurs.
Yeah. So,
as a banker for them, I'm not. He's not good enough for Tottenham. Like I've kind of been. I don't. It's a non-conversation in our fan base. Some people are like, oh no, he should stay. It's like what? I just don't like
with all the guys you got there.
Yeah, it doesn't get it.
Yeah. So it's a difficult time for them. I think. Yeah. As they work through there's a lot of size there, but then once you get to the attacking end of the pitch, it's not glittering for me. Dan James, Aronson, Nonto. I think Harrison's come back, but I don't think he's got a future there. Yeah. So they just need some sparkle there and creativity there. Yeah, Elkanousen will be another great one.
Yeah. I think the problem is with that now, I think with Palace sniffing and Newcastle But then again, Newcastle going in for Ramsey, that might open up the door. I can't see Newcastle sign both, for example. So yeah, maybe
they
need
a
opportunity.
striker. Need a striker.
Yeah,
I think just to help. So yeah, gone by November, sadly, because the rule of the teams down the bottom. People are going to go. Man City finished third last season. Conceded 44.
Yeah,
I was kind of looking into this.
So did you miss Liverpool?
Did I?
Yeah.
Imagine.
It got to the end. It's like,
all right, let's do it. Here we go. Let's do Liverpool then. Won the league last year.
Yeah.
And the big question then is in transition, isn't it? It feels like. I can't. I'm so excited to watch Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like they're the team I want to watch the most.
Same.
Because I think this idea that they won't figure it out, like they're going to be frightening at some point.
Mm.
Can they be like consistently frightening throughout? That's where I'm sort of leaning on the continuity thing.
Yeah.
Which I was saying at the start of the pod. That's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, I think continuity is king a little bit at the moment. And the way I would describe it is that this was the season that he was supposed to have last year.
Yeah.
But
new look, new players.
But in terms of like the feeling, and I get it because like the players are so good, I think everyone's going, oh, well, you started here, and so you go here. I actually see it like, it's like it should be the other. It would have been the expectation would have been the other way. If they finished fourth and made all those changes, I think then this year you could have gone, well, they're all bedded in now.
Yeah, they've had a year.
Yeah, right. Whereas I just think it's a lot of change for a team that's been so stable for so long.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to watch them. Like Wirtz is going to be
I think there will be a game where everybody goes, oh, fuck.
They're here.
Like, they are like, because I was watching it on Sunday and there are big concerns. And there was a few players, to be fair, that had an off day. Van Dijk had a big off day. He was at fault for both the goals, gave away the penalty and then stepped up and allowed Sarr to run in behind. Was shaky in the defence for the penalty. Like he was the one that stepped up. Mateta ran in behind. Just not on the same wavelength.
But is that not him being exposed? He's in Premier League great, but like the defensive line being exposed.
I think a little bit because I think they massively missed Gravenberch.
Yeah.
Like Curtis Jones was amazing on the ball. Like didn't give it away. Brilliant dropping deep, dropping in the pockets to progress them through the thirds. Obviously, Wirtz was amazing as well. But I think on transition, when Palace turn the ball over, they haven't got a Gravenberch to eat up the ground. I'm so fascinated to see because McAllister didn't start either. It was Jones and I think Szoboszlai.
He's been very deeper.
And he's been very good in pre-season as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Liverpool rotate that midfield because I think who becomes the one that is the constant? Is it McAllister? I think it is.
Right.
And then maybe in certain games they bring in a Jones if they're playing against a deeper block and kind of
alongside Gravenberch, who's a constant.
Oh, I don't know. That's what I don't know. I think Gravenberch plays in every big game.
Has to be
he has to be, but then it's like if you're looking at Wirtz, if they sign Isak, it's like what does that look like?
I think Ekitike has to come. You have to rotate. I think there's going to
don't play them together.
I think you can explore it. That's the fun thing, right?
Yeah,
I think they've got so much. There's so much fun to be had with a great mind like Arne Slot, but like. This is the thing. You can't just cram. It's like England. You can't cram. You can't do that.
But then again, I watched it on Sunday. There was like
you try it.
Ekitike. So Gakpo started on the left. There was a lot of times where Gakpo would drift into the striker position to allow Isak already sold him. Ekitike to run the channel, and Wirtz would move over to that left hand side. There was a lot of rotation. It's like. Okay, you can see how that would work. I mean, it would work with Isak. Of course it would. He's like, there's no doubt about that. But there's one thing having a quality player that comes in that you know is going to score goals, but functionally, how does it actually work? And I think you could sort of see that on Sunday. But then again, there will be games where they don't play both of them because they do need to be a bit more secure. At the end of the day, they were playing Palace, a team that were likely to sit in and counter-attack. So naturally, Liverpool are going to be on the front foot a little bit more, want to dominate possession. So they're going to leave themselves a bit more vulnerable to the turnover, which they were at times anyway last year. So it's not a new problem. And also there might be games where they play Bradley instead of Frimpong as well.
Yeah,
it's like
how do you want to use Kerkez? Like if Kerkez is absolutely willing just to be a touch more chilled, like from a defensive point of view, you've got an absolute beast there.
Yeah, so he's so strong and so quick. Like
I think to that point about Palace, like this is the thing you got to remember as well is the other teams in the league. And the other teams in the league are all better in transition than they've ever been.
Yeah.
So that makes that possible weakness or, area that needs to sort of bedding in. And you can't ignore that, right? Because the opposition teams are going to be better at exploiting it than ever before.
Yeah.
So I think at some point there has to be like a conservative pick.
Yeah.
In certain games. But I think they'll beat someone 9-0 this year.
Yeah.
Like it'll get ugly at one point.
Yeah, I think it could. I think it'd be so interesting. I'm fascinated to see how they line up in the Champions League. Like in maybe some of those bigger games. Because naturally, like with the way that the Champions League is structured now, they're going to have a big boy in the league phase. So it's like to see if they were to line up again, say if they got PSG again, like how, bear in mind they were exposed quite a lot in that first game, naturally because of PSG's obviously attacking talent, but there was a moment where it was like, we need to sit in here, absorb this pressure.
Yeah, and they were great, and they did that.
Yeah,
like they had to, and they did, and I think that's a sign of a good team.
Yeah, and also Slot, I think he will 100%. He's not arrogant enough to not adapt. Like if it's not working, he'll change it.
Arne Slot, he'll be alright, won't he?
Yeah, I think just he's a legend already.
Yeah.
Someone's coming
10 million
in for him.
fee. Imagine that.
Well, we'll get him early for the Club World Cup. I think he's already a legend there anyway, and I am backing them at the moment to go back to back. So I think that will be where he is for me. Yeah,
fair enough. I think it's fair shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of just because of what options that are here. I think stock rising. I think his stock might be rising like in quite a granular way, in the sense of like, it was, there was a lot to contend with.
I think that's a good shout, because I think it's also like people there was so much chat last season around, but it's still Klopp's team. He hasn't changed that much. Whereas like this is his team now, and if he wins the league, he's a legend anyway. But I think his stock as a manager, as a coach, will increase.
Could rise.
I think that makes more sense probably.
Man City. How does Pep reduce the amount of high quality chances that Man City concede? They
Rodri.
Conceded. Yeah. Rodri and Reinders. I think that double pivot is scary if they stay fit.
Yeah.
And do you know what? That's what you could play those two in just big games.
Yep.
And that's a good big game midfield, if you know what I mean. Reinders and Rodri there. Like the fear you've probably got with Rodri is, will he ever be
the same? There's already kind of been a setback, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Like talking about September,
which probably
maybe.
Happens, right?
Yeah.
And just overall for Pep, like there's still a lot of change there. That group as well, like they've maybe bedded in a little bit more because of January and a couple of changes there,
and obviously having the Club World Cup, which most of the new signings played in.
Yeah,
like Reinders played a decent part, Cherky played a decent part.
Yeah,
I think City are going to be so. I think obviously naturally it does hinge a lot on Rodri, and if he can, I think Rodri will have a slow start when he eventually gets back in. But I do feel like you'll. Hopefully, because you want to see the best players available and fit, right? I think he will, by the time the crunch comes, I think you'll see Rodri in those bigger games. And also, like, naturally, I don't think they're going to be, even without Rodri, I feel like Nico Gonzalez might get a decent amount of game time, actually, where he does get a bit of a run and you'll see them be a little bit less exposed anyway. Reinders is the perfect replacement for Gundogan, but he's also got the legs that Gundogan didn't have at the end. So it's like, they're naturally, even without Rodri, I think going to be a little bit less vulnerable. And also that defensive, if they like bringing in Aït-Nouri, they've got Gvardiol and Diaz. If they can stay fit as a centre-back partnership, that's a joke. Whereas like last season, there was a lot more change.
Yeah, the Al Hilal game was really. I don't know if you should put much on it or not. Probably shouldn't. But it was a really weird game.
Yeah, they did dominate the game. Didn't they?
Like, but again, if you look at the stats, Al Hilal kept working their way down that right-hand side. It was 2 passes and they were in a lot of the time. So they are still susceptible. I think that's necessary evil's not the phrase, but like, I think it's inevitable. However much you want to kind of, put that pressure on, you are, you're one kick away from the opposition being kind of having like 70 yards worth of space.
Oh, yeah.
To sort of go at. So that would be something that can, that's going to be hard for them to kind of continue. But that's why I think that double pivot of like Rodri and Reinders, where they're both actually quite aggressive and attacking.
Yeah.
Yet are both kind of sixes too.
Yeah.
That's a really nice.
Yeah, it'll help their like counter press to stop the turnovers, but also just like, also the quality on the ball is going to give them more control where they are less vulnerable anyway because they're not giving it away as much.
Yeah. Well, will it be an end of season handshake though? That's always the question with Pep these days.
I was going to say like every year it's kind of the same conversation. Is it going to be his last year? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's almost as more determined as ever. Like I kind of feel like he's got his new. He's got two. He's
exhausting, though, isn't it?
Probably. He's
I'm
almost
knackered. We haven't even started.
Klopp was like, I'm knackered. And he's kind of got two Klopps now. Because City and Arsenal is a thing. Like, that is a rivalry. City and Liverpool, for as long as Klopp, for basically the whole time Klopp was there, that was a thing. And with Liverpool being the title winners, that City, like everyone's saying, it's going to be a City-Pool title race again this year. That is a thing. And maybe
We're also waiting on the charges, aren't we, as well?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, how's that going to is that just going to blow up?
Yeah, and he goes, you know what, actually, maybe it's time. I think for a club as good as they are, this is actually probably the hardest one to call in a weird way. Like what it means for Pep.
He's already a legend, isn't he? He's not getting pinched. I don't think his stock can rise anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, even if because I've been fascinated watching them in the Club World Cup in pre-season in terms of the different. Like you did a video on it, didn't you? Where it's kind of like breaking down the different ways they play. It's like it is fascinating, and it's like maybe we'll get even more respect for him as a coach, but his stock's not going to rise.
I think it's two options here: it's legendary status because he already is, or end of season handshake if you think he's going to go.
I don't think he goes. I think it's probably legendary status.
Okie doke. Yeah, where are we? Man United. How does Amorim ensure Manchester United score more goals? Front three rebalanced has played a part in their success over pre-season, although, I don't know. I don't know how much you can kind of read into it overall. Although that said, I'm feeling all right about Man United again.
Yeah,
does this happen every year? Do I go, you bought some shiny things.
You remember when they bought like Pogba and Sancho? I was like, oh my God, and Ronaldo's the league.
This is it. This is it. I feel like I do like that front three.
Yeah, I think it works.
I think it will work. And I think Mbeumo, I think it'll be absolutely just fine now. The more I see it, I think, and with Seshko there, and Bruno Fernandes can find him. Cunha's probably going to want to find him. Seshko's going to want to pop it off and then find him.
Yeah,
I think Mbeumo could score a lot of goals.
Also, like the relation, I watched a bit of their pre-season game on Saturday, and the relationship he's got with Ahmad is nice. Like Ahmad is that wing back. Like it is. There was a lot of rotation there, moving into each other's positions. And Mbeumo, like I think because Mbeumo's role was so defined at Brentford in terms of being a finisher, I feel like there's not as much appreciation for him as a footballer. But
yeah, I think
if he's playing on the halfway line, back to goal, ping it into him, his touch is superb, and he can lay it off and then spin, like which is kind of what he did at Brentford, to be fair. But he only got the appreciation for the finishing. Yeah, exactly.
Because people don't really watch Brentford that much.
No, so you've seen him run for on goal.
Yeah,
you're not seeing him. You're not seeing everything else.
Between, yeah.
There's like to that point. There's been so much chat about like how sustainable is Cunha and Mbeumo's overperformance of like XG. It's like they're good players. Like, it might be okay. Like, Cunha, like he offers both of them. Like, and Mbeumo, I think people have categorized him as a finisher, but Cunha offers so much more than that anyway. Like, it's not Cunha's game isn't about finishing. It's about dragging the team up the pitch. Again, you could make the argument that Cunha might get a bit more frustrated at Man United because not everything is going through him as much. Maybe, but again, I still think it's like,
I think he's probably quite starry-eyed there as well. But he is an adult. Like he's not like an 18-year-old. He's going to just get caught in the headlights. Yeah, I think he's been about for long enough.
For ages,
like now,
and also the determination to make it work as well. Like last big move didn't work for him, did it? I still worry about the midfield. I think that's obvious, but it's just like I don't see it with Ugarte personally. I really love Kobbie Mainoo, and I like from what I've seen from him in pre-season, but he still needs a partner.
Yeah, he's a bit too laid back for me sometimes. I kind of want, especially. I think if he didn't have Bruno Fernandes and he becomes not Bruno Fernandes, but he has a bit more license, and you've got like a water carrier looking after him. Then cool. But when he needs to maybe be that because he'd probably be playing with someone like Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Then as defensively, I don't see the nous there. If that makes sense.
Which is why like the Belieber links makes so much sense, but it's just like how feasible is that? I don't know.
I worry about Belieber as well. That he just like I think he would be fine, but like. He might step into that cauldron, and that's always my question for all of these players. Can you deal with the noise this season?
Yeah, so if he went to Chelsea, I mean, let's say, for example, if Caicedo wasn't there, if he went to Chelsea, he'd be brilliant, I think. If he went to United, there's almost so much, it's like we were talking about Arsenal earlier, the noise is, it's too much. Like, it is too much.
They scored 44 goals last year. How many goals do you think they scored this year?
54? I don't think it's going to massively improve, but I think there would be. It has to be more.
I think I think they'll get. So they haven't got over 60 in how many seasons since 2020. And
that was the
2020. 21.
That was the Ollie lockdown kind of like free flowing, very exciting. Cavani, Rashford, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, I think they'll do it this year. I think there's goals in that team.
Do you think they'll concede more?
And I think the game state will be better for them.
Yeah.
And so I think that will lead to more goals kind of for them and the opposition kind of not giving up. But I think it'll be okay. I feel all right about Man United.
Yeah,
I think the feeling around them as a team is, I don't think it'll be as angry.
No.
And I think they'll be more fun.
Yeah, they'll definitely be more fun, I think.
Amorim, will he survive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think stock rising. I think they're moving forward. But that's the thing with Man United. It's not a one-season thing.
No.
So you need to move forward. Because this season, what's a good season for Man United?
8th.
Right. So then let's say, okay, you achieve that 7th. You finished 7th. Well done.
Yeah.
You've now finished 7th. We're a year ahead having the same conversation. Then I'm going a challenge at top 4.
Yeah.
So then the expectations change. So it's kind of, you've almost got to get to that point to then fail.
Yeah.
But I think his stock will rise. I think, people can't think any worse of Man United.
Yeah,
surely.
that's the thing. It can't get worse.
It can.
It can.
Nottingham Forest. Oh, no, Newcastle. Done it again. God. Newcastle it's been a brutal summer. I think I said that, look, if you get Visser, I think he'll score a solid amount of goals for you and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Do you think he can be do you think it has to be Visser and another striker? Because obviously they have lost Callum Wilson as well.
Too, yeah.
It has to be, I think.
Yeah, they were linked with, weren't they? Voltamada. And Nicholas Jackson, I think, would be a good one because you've got Champions League football as well. Like I think, how does Eddie Howe pick up the club as well as the team?
I feel really sorry for Howe. I think he's had to do Isak, I think, has behaved incredibly weirdly. I think, and I think it's naturally put Eddie Howe in a very difficult position where he's trying to. I saw like there was a thing that was like inviting all the players' families for a barbecue and all that kind of stuff to like the training ground to like, we're in this together, lads. It's like, and trying to. They've had a bad pre-season as well in terms of the results. Like again, does pre-season matter? Yes, in some ways. Do the results matter? Not particularly. No. So you can't really judge them from that. They've got a really interesting first game of the season at home. I think. Oh no, actually, it might be away to Villa. And it's like where they're so.
They always play Villa.
I know they thrashed them a couple of years ago, didn't they? First game of the season. It's like where they're in similar conversations. It's like that's going to be fascinating to see how they get on in that game. Newcastle's recruitment does baffle me a little bit, just because I think they're doubling down too much on being strong in transition. I'm not sure how much I like Elanga to Newcastle. In a weird way, I think he's the perfect Eddie Howe player. But is he actually what they needed? Did they need someone who's a bit more of a maverick, like a Kudus, for example, who is such an excellent ball carrier when Newcastle want to do the Newcastle thing, but when they are going to be sat in against lower blocks, like they inevitably will be, because people know that's Newcastle's. I mean, I say the low block thing I think gets overdone a little bit because it's everyone's kryptonite. Like Arne Slot came out and said it last year. It's like, bear in mind they won the league. It was like playing against low blocks is the hardest thing to do. It's like, give us a bit of space here, lads. It's difficult. They drew to Forest, I think. It's like Forest probably playing the deepest low block of anyone last season.
Yeah.
But I still think in terms of the expectations at Newcastle and wanting to sustain that place as a Champions League team, I think they could have been a bit braver in the recruitment to maybe go, let's go and get a Harvey Elliott or let's go and get a Kudus, who Kudus is a great ball carrier, but he can produce moments of magic off the cuff when we are sat in against teams. Elliott, the same, a bit more of a creator. And I do worry with Jackson. Jackson, again, if Newcastle were in full flow and it's working and teams are pressing onto them, he is such an amazing facilitator for Elanga, Gordon, running that way and behind into the space. But again, you're going to maybe see the same sort of frustrations that Chelsea fans saw with Jackson, where it's like, shift it and shoot from outside the box. Do like Isak.
That's why I like Visser as well.
I'm not sure.
If you get Visser and Jackson, I think they can feel much better about it.
I agree. I do agree.
It's one where maybe like in certain Champions League games, kind of for Visser, it's a forward step, maybe a backward step as well. Say if you get Jackson as well, because it might be one where he might be coming like in the Champions League, start Jackson, you bring on Visser, or like Premier League games where you feel like you should definitely beat the opposition.
Yeah, you
play Visser because it's about scoring that goal.
Yeah,
and just being kind of clinical in that moment.
Also, his movement in the box is much better than Jackson's as well. So it's like that finding of space. It's like that's just, I think Jackson's biggest question mark is in and around the 18-yard box, whereas the rest of it, he's the perfect Newcastle centre forward.
The Visser thing as well. Like, it's such a Brentford thing. He looks too small to be good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But he's so good in the air.
Yeah. And he's got every finish. So it's one where Brentford are really good at that, at going on the face of it, but like does that actually matter?
Yeah,
certain things,
yeah,
right?
like give it a minute and you'll see it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Visser, I really like. I think I don't see him not scoring goals there.
No, I agree.
So it's a good addition.
I don't see him not scoring goals anywhere. Like wherever he would have gone, I think he would have been a good.
But Eddie Howe, obviously, it's been a while now. Obviously, he's a legend already.
Yeah.
How do you think he leaves?
England. I think Tuchel after the World Cup, whether he does his job or doesn't do his job, I think he might be gone either way.
Manager, right.
Yeah, so I think it's a handshake at the end of next season.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the end of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Prior to next season.
Got you.
I think he's the next guy for England personally.
Especially if you have a season where at the end of it you kind of go, he might feel like it's as far as you can take them.
Yeah.
And his stocks are nice and high.
I think Newcastle's a really weird place to be at the moment because
Really
I think it feels like the Saudi side of it feels like they've taken a bit of a back seat. And it feels like they're not as like... Yeah, it feels like they're just not... And also they've had a summer of turmoil with Isaac, but also the decision-making in terms of the incomings because no director of football and all that kind of stuff. And it's just... It feels like it...
That's I think a disaster because...
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, again, it's one where like it kind of drags Newcastle. Newcastle are trying to be one of those top 4 sides, but they're kind of getting dragged into this Fulham, Palace, Brentford situation.
Yeah, they're
where,
still as much in the food chain as everybody else.
We're waiting to sort of spend our money, and it's just not best practice, is it?
No.
So end of season handshake apparently. The new England manager. Exciting.
You heard it here first.
We did.
Even though everyone's been saying it for us.
Forest. Yeah, never been linked, is it?
Yeah, I don't think so.
7th, obviously, last year. Brilliant season. Have lost Elanga to Newcastle. They similar to Palace. How can Nuno adapt when Forest have to be the aggressor in a game? Do they have to be the aggressor in a game?
Yeah, I think they've got to. You saw it kind of. Not the wheels didn't come off last season. That's a wrong word, but like
tensed up a bit.
They massively did towards the back end of the season. And obviously, if you look at the expected points table from last year, throw out the course of the season, I think they were like 14th. Like there are valid question marks about sustainability there in terms of that style of play if he doesn't decide to change things. Recruitment's been an interesting one. Again, Dan and Doy coming in, James McAtee as well. Maybe suggests that they're planning for all kinds of game states.
Yeah.
McAtee is not a transitional kind of first.
When did McAtee happen?
I think it hasn't happened yet, but it's
like
sounding
right.
close. I think because Forest, I think Marinakis was like, now we can loosen the purse strings because the Europa League, that's all sorted now. Right. So I think they can push the go button on a lot of these transfers.
Oh, interesting.
But I think
now you tell me.
Yeah, I do.
Predictions just there.
I do. I think this has got a familiar Nuno feel to it, where the gas is running low now, and I think that he could actually be a candidate for one of the first managers to be sacked. Really? If they start, they've had a bad pre-season.
I had him last year to go first. That was
I think it's kind of similar to Wolves, where it's like it's reached the. I think it's a lot quicker, obviously. Yeah. But naturally, the Premier League things happen a lot quicker. It's more intense. But like,
I think Forest fans would be accepting of a mid-table finish and an understanding of the situation. And if you're still like, if they're absolutely safe,
but will Marinakis, considering that like. In that very odd Gibbs White interview where he was like, we're showing so much ambition and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, okay, well, if you're 14th in November and you're struggling a bit in Europe and you're still playing the same way and getting found out a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. He's volatile, isn't he? Is that the best times?
Lights have just gone. Did they just go?
Yeah, I think
so. It
just
got darker, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe that's an omen for Forest, potentially.
Maybe. Yeah, the light's about to... I don't know what it means. The Chris Wood thing as well. It's like, I hate even saying it, but he can't not say it. It's like 20 goals from 13.
Yeah, again.
Expected goals.
Yeah,
he can't. Can he?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe he can. I think, again, it's one where like Europe's sort of feeling different now, isn't it? Like, for Palace and Forest and some of these teams, and again, I might be totally wrong here. I am not a fan of a team that's in Europe, but I wonder if a Palace or a Forest would go, or a Villa, you go so season in the league, but we won
absolutely,
we got to the European final. Like, I think you'd take that.
100%. We finished 17th last year, and that was the best season I've had following Tottenham probably in my life. Not the season. It made it all worth it. It made it all worth it. The worst season I've had following Tottenham, but the best. Yeah. So like. but also the expectations at Tottenham are different.
So what are you saying with Forest then? You say gone by February
Yeah,
for Nuno?
I think it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe again, I'm not the best person to ask because Forest are in my bad books at the moment. But yeah, no, I'm gone by February. I think they make a change.
Sunderland, Regis Le Bris.
Great name, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So good.
Do you know what I struggle with? Sometimes I struggle to remember certain names, and I struggle to remember his name because I'm like, that's got to be a joke.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
The cheese.
Yeah.
Will he be? He is the big cheese.
Yeah.
Will he? I'm trying to think of another cheese.
Will he
cut the cheddar?
Yeah.
No.
No. Well, I think it does work.
It's mustard, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's fine.
Do you know? I should forget it. There's a Samism I heard the other day. It doesn't matter. Sunderland he's got a lot of new signings. He's spending like just under 150 mil.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you go, you can't do that. You can't do. You should.
Yeah, and you can.
Sorry, that meme is living. In this podcast.
Rent free.
But yeah, if you want to have a good chance at staying up, you have to kind of like burst your way out of it.
Yeah,
It's so wrong and dangerous. But this is the life we're in.
Yeah. Also, think Sunderland have done it the right way by spending quite a lot of money on younger talent. That if it does go wrong, then there are, I'm sure, like enough of those younger players that they have brought in will have enough standout games and moments where someone will go, quite like the look of him.
Yeah, Ipswich sort of style.
Yeah. So I think they've gambled, but there's that money will be recouped in some way. I think.
Yeah, for Reggie, I think his stock's higher than people probably realise. It's a weird one where like they had an awful
end, didn't they?
Awful end to last season, and so to kind of just forget that and get away from that. I think the new signings probably help with that because it is just so new.
Yeah, the dopamine is just like, wow, another player. It's just like, don't forget about the one we didn't.
Yeah,
did they lose like 5 or 6 games in a row, or winless in like 5 or 6 towards the end? I think it was bad.
But yeah, for them, for the first run of games, I just cannot escape it. There's such a good run of games for them.
Yeah,
but they really need to start hot.
Are they at home on the first game of the season?
Sunderland at home, West Ham at home.
Brilliant. That's great. I think that's a great game there.
Then Burnley away, then Fulham at home. Then Fulham away, then Arsenal at home, then Everton at home, then Chelsea away, then Wolves, then Man United, Forest, Villa. So
that first 5 games is like perfect because you've got like a
little spread,
winnable game of the season at home against West Ham, who are in a little bit of turmoil. Then your next home game is Arsenal, where like you're expecting to lose that, but the stadium that reeks of a 5:30 kickoff, where like everybo's like, could Sunderland do something? It's you almost need a game like that to one, get it out of the way early, but also to like, it doesn't matter if we lose.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think it will catch fire. I think it might actually be quite an awkward first few weeks. You want them to start well. Any newly promoted, you want to just get that little bit of
and
belief.
Also Sunderland have had so much crap like to go their way the last few years. I think it's a bit. I've predicted Sunderland to stay up, but I also am I'm recognising the fact that it's almost a bit like Ipswich, where we're kind of saying it because we want them to, because it's like they've been out of it for so long. They've gone through so much stuff as a club. These players are really exciting.
They've got some. The players are exciting. I've got a funny feeling that he might go, but they might still stay up.
What, like January, February maybe?
Could be a gone by November. But for him to go by November, it's got to be really bad, hasn't it?
Mm. And it's also still like I
like him.
I'd be really interested to see if that did happen, the sort of appointment they'd make, because it's an attractive project.
Yeah,
like it's not like get Deitch. Like no disrespect to Sean Deitch, but like it's not like we have to survive. It's like I think they can be a bit forward thinking in who they bring in next.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm sort of looking at stock rising, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make it.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility there. I think my gut would say he's not going to make it, but I also think they will stay up.
Yeah, gone by November then. Let's do stock rising. Let's be positive.
Yeah, go on.
Stock rising.
Up the Sunderland.
Come on. Next up, we have Tottenham. Here's quite a nuanced question. How does Frank get Spurs turning up in big matches?
Yeah,
big derby matches.
Our derby record under Andrew is horrific. Yeah, we didn't win a game against Arsenal, Chelsea, or West Ham, I think, actually.
Really?
I know we won against West Ham last season, but it was pretty poor, really, really poor. And obviously Frank is coming into the season off the back of a North London derby win in Asia. So he's already shown that I mean, take that with a pinch of salt a little bit, but like it's still a game against Arsenal where we've been really, really vulnerable. And in his first North London derby, we went to the Emirates, we were brave, we got in their faces, but we also defended well and got a point. And it was like, right, we're going to be, in these games, we are going to turn up. There's something about us, and then it just all fell apart after that, with that Chelsea game being the main protagonist. And then our record in derbies after that was really, really poor, especially away from home. And Frank's record against the Big Six is obviously very good, especially going to the Etihad, going to the Emirates, got a point there last season, has beaten City at the Etihad as well, which again, Spurs have never had an issue with actually, and despite all of the games that we have lost, we never seem to lose there. But like a general point about the derby games, I do think it's partly as simple as that pragmatism and finding the right balance between attack and defence. I don't think Spurs are going to be a team that goes and puts 10 men behind the ball every big game, but it's a recognition of the respect of the quality of the opponent, which I think that's fine. That's also fine. Like
it's so different, isn't it?
It is really different, but I think it's the palate cleanser that I think Spurs maybe needed after Ange. Like Ange was the perfect guy to have after Conte. Frank is the perfect guy to have after Ange, I think.
Okay, we're going to get into that in more detail. So we'll park that for now. Where are we going to put them? He's going to be.
I think stock rising for Frank.
Okay, I think treading water, but no, I disagree. Yeah, you're right. Stock rising.
I think we'll have a good season. I actually do.
Okay. West Ham. How does Potter make sure that he gets the most out of Jared, Bowen, and the rest of the group? Because it's a group that's been kind of quite expensively accumulated.
Yeah.
And they went, right, we're gonna go. We're gonna spend all the money. Right, go.
Yeah.
And then Lopetegui just went boop.
Yeah.
It's just not worked at all.
A group that's been expensively accumulated, but a lot of people have forgotten about a lot of the players.
Yeah.
Somerville. Like there's been a lot of guys.
Todibo, a lot of people were like excited about those kind of
like
players.
40 million euros,
right?
I'm pretty sure they bought him for.
Yeah. I think with for a lot of these managers, it's like I think there's a lot. Like I feel like the Arsenal fan base, the Spurs fan base, the West Ham fan base, they're quite like agitated.
Yeah, I think speaking from Spurs just quickly, I think a lot of that's not about the manager. I don't think. I think a lot of it's about why we do it. Well, I mean, we could end up the week with two big signings, but like a lot of it's about off the field. Arsenal, I think, is to do with the manager because they have but West Ham, I think, is a bit of both.
I think West Ham's I think closer to the Spurs situation where it's like I thought we were going over there, and we're not. We're like we're still
Their season went under the radar last year because of how bad Spurs and Man United were. I think that's a fact. Like it's just there would have been far more attention on West Ham massively underachieving with the money that they spent if Spurs and United hadn't finished 17th and 15th.
Yeah, I think there'd have been so much more noise if David Moyes had finished like that the season before. And it's just I think it's just one of those things with the David Moyes. It run its course, and we've seen that over the years with lots of teams. Like my head goes to Stoke City where Tony Pulis had done really well and it was steady, and it got to a point where the Stoke fans were like, well, nah, I'm getting quite a difficult meal to eat now.
Yeah.
And I think that's understandable, and sometimes you've got to kind of shake hands at the end of the season and move on. The thing with Potter's he can either absorb the pressure well.
Yeah.
Or he's like not got enough anger in him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's always the problem that Potter's going to have to deal with, because I think that's his natural personality, which actually is both it's a help and a hindrance depending on the situation and maybe depending on the club as well.
Yeah, I'm massively a hindrance at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I actually think at West Ham it could be, even though Chelsea, the expectations are far higher, I still think I say that West Ham have obviously won a trophy at this new stadium, but like they thought they'd maybe kick on and be more consistently in and around those European conversations than they are. So they're still searching for that stability.
Yeah, or at least from Lopetegui to the end of the season, have seen that a little bit more. And like you lost all that Potter knows what he's doing, don't worry.
Yeah, they saw something different, but it wasn't encouraging enough to make them go into the season with okay, give them a transfer window and maybe, because they've not done loads. Obviously, they brought in Jif, the fullback, who I think is actually quite exciting.
Yeah,
that midfield needs so much work.
Kudus.
It's horrendous.
It's like Declan Rice has not been replaced. Like the energy of Declan Rice has just not been replaced. That's the thing.
I think as well, I saw something today before we started that they made a bid for Mateus Fernandes at Southampton, which I think would be a really good signing, Southampton laughed them out the door, I think, and it was very much like insultingly low.
Oh, right.
So I think West Ham fans are like, he is such an obvious upgrade who's not going to cost us loads of money. What the fuck are we doing?
Right.
Like, why are we dicking about not? It's like, I don't know. I think I feel sorry for West Ham fans, to be honest. I do feel like they're similar frustrations to Spurs over the years, but it feels like they're still searching for that identity a bit there.
I fear for Potter.
I think gone by the end of the season. Not an end of season handshake. I think he could get sacked.
By Feb.
Yeah. I think they'll struggle. I do think they'll struggle.
If he makes the end of the season, it's been a great season.
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of club where they will twist. No, they won't go, well, let's just get to the... I don't think that. I'm not sure.
No, I agree.
He might do that. Might be end of season handshake. I don't know. But yeah, there's talent there, but it's just, if something doesn't feel right, does it?
Yeah.
And last but not least, Wolves.
Who,
a lot of people unsure about. I am.
Yeah, I am
unsure about them. But Pereira, I don't think his stock will go down even if it goes wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's coming to the league, and I think people are actually like, I think we like your demeanour, we like what you're about. I think you're about the collective, which is crucial here with Wolves, because I don't think the overall individual quality is that high, aside from maybe
Gomez and maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And you've lost some key players, and I think the problem is, the players that they've gone for, they're struggling. It's another one where they can't seem to get them.
Yeah.
So that's not Pereira's fault.
No. I think he's going to have to do a few more trips to the pub this season with the fans, because I feel like it could be like
drowning of
guys,
sorrows.
please, yeah, like stick with me. I think you're totally right. I think I actually predicted Wolves to go down, because I was like, again, I had Sunderland up. I was like so close between a lot of those other teams. Someone's got to go, and I was like, I've just got this feeling about Wolves. And actually, I was really big on Pereira and Wolves towards the back end of the season, where without Cunha, he found a way at the biggest pressure point of the season, where Cunha got sent off in that FA Cup game against Bournemouth, where he had that little scrap, and it was like, what have you done? Like, what on earth have you done? You've plunged us. I think at that point they were like 5 points above the relegation zone, but it was like, that can change like that.
Yeah,
and it felt like it was all leading up. I remember they had a game against Ipswich where it was all like leading up to that game, because it was like, if Wolves lose a couple, Ipswich win a couple, that becomes a massive 6-pointer, and they've got no Cunha.
Yeah.
Wolves got through that period and won 3 out of the 4 games, I think.
Well, yeah, so they beat Southampton. This is the one thing I would say with this. This is the caveat as well. I wanted to find it. So these are the victories. So they drew with Everton.
Yeah.
Beat Southampton. Beat West Ham. Beat Ipswich. Beat Spurs. Beat Man United. Beat Leicester.
Yes, like, well done.
Little bit.
Yeah. And I do feel like if you, again, Pereira deserves so much credit for how they all stuck together.
Wins are wins. Yeah.
Project that over a 38-game season, then you're struggling, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you could have had a run of games with teams with lower confidence at that period of time. This is April.
Yeah.
Think how bad was Spurs.
We were
April.
terrible.
Yeah.
That game was. They beat United at Old Trafford, where it was like, you couldn't have. Yeah, like you said, you couldn't have asked for a better run of games than that.
Yeah.
So he deserves the credit, and that's why I don't think he's. I think Wolves managers, rightly so to an extent, tend to get a bit of leeway just because there is always financial problems. They're always selling someone and not really
selling
like,
the best asset. Well, they've done it. They do that year after year.
Yeah. So when Gary O'Neill got sacked, it was like, actually, like, kind of feel sorry for him a little bit. It wasn't like this guy's done. It wasn't like, I know he's not managed since, I don't think, but
not yet. No, but there's a swirling of the drain.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes.
So can Wolves and Pereira have that great first season? That's the big one for me. Man City first game, Bournemouth second game is an opportunity, I guess. Palace, then Chelsea, then Fulham. I've spoken a lot about the initial fixtures. I just think it sets a tone, the feeling of a season.
Yeah,
and so for Pereira, just to get points early doors to go. Yeah, no, we are good. You are good as a collective and as a team. Yeah, it's going to be massive for him. Will he survive? I'll go gone by. I don't know, and maybe he does see it through, but I think they'll go down. I actually think this will be the year that you flirt. It tends to happen where you flirt and you flirt and you flirt, and then eventually you kind of fall off the cliff. I feel like this is the year that maybe that can happen to Wolves. Again, I'd like to be wrong. I like Wolves. I like a lot of the players. I really like Pereira, but mate, I don't see him being there next season, put it that way, but it's whether they twist in Feb. I don't think it'll be November. Maybe end of season handshake. I think November. I don't think it's his fault. I think
it go that.
I think it could be bad, and then I think, and this is all speculative guess, and this is people's lives, so we're really sorry.
Yeah, sorry guys.
But like, I feel I don't think his stock will have dropped too much, but I think he will be gone by November.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then he pops up at Sunderland.
Yeah. That
keeps him up. Could happen.
That's not a bad shout.
And do you know what I've just realised? No one was on treading water, so you can be treading water.
I'll tread water.
And I'm on a cliff edge.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
That sounds ominous. I don't like it.
Ben, gorgeous stuff. Lovely to chat. Thank you, mate.
Pleasure.
Ben has 8 podcasts.
Yeah.
No. God,
I think it's 9 now,
what's
actually.
the thing? What's the most important? Like TikTok royalty at this stage.
Well, I don't know about that.
YouTube on the rise.
Yeah.
So you got the Ben Bowman channel.
Yeah. YouTube's a big one. I think lots of content coming.
And which podcast would you like to plug today?
FC Bottle Job. That's mine and Seb's podcast, and also there's another Spurs podcast coming soon. So watch out for that.
That's it. Love it. So yeah, mate, thank you.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Last minute call up, and what a call up it was. If you enjoyed the podcast, please do me a favor wherever you're listening, subscribe, and importantly, get on Spotify and follow us on The Ripple Effect with James Lawrence Allcott. It massively helps, and it allows you to listen to the podcast wherever you are at any time. So please do that.